Hi, I'm Chris Wade again, and I'm a speech therapist based over in Caerphilly in South Wales. And today I'm going to talk about the CELF 5 or CELF 5 subtest called Understanding Spoken Paragraphs. For this particular subtest, the examiner reads out a story, which is about 5 lines of an A4 sheet. It takes a couple of minutes to read. And then they'll ask the child or the adolescent or the adult questions based on the content of the story. And the questions themselves will either relate specifically to the content of the story or will expect the individual to kind of infer information based on the theme of the story. So what this subtest is actually doing is it's looking at kind of the individual's memory. And this is where when I'm looking at someone who's scored low average or kind of off the kind of much significantly below average, when I find them types of scores, I don't question the individuals don't just question the individual's ability to remember and retain the information that's just been given auditorily. Again, with this subtest we can actually repeat it, but again it's still a big load on your memory. I consider this subtest to look at the individual's ability to create the story in their mind as it's being read to them, what that could refer to, or I feel it refers to, is your ability to visualize. And so when you're read a sentence in recalling sentences, what you have to do is remember the sentence, repeat it straight back. With understanding spoken paragraphs, what you actually have to do is to create that story in your mind and then go back to the story to answer questions. Because you're not going to remember every single word of that story, but you might remember the theme of the story and some of the kind of the more pertinent information, such as the characters' names or the general gist of what happened. But again, we're not expecting the child or the adolescent to remember all the exact words of the story. What I have found with some individuals is they actually try to remember every single word of the story rather than trying to visualize it. And if you visualize it, what you're able to do is go back into your memory and go back to the visualization and remember information based on what you visualized. And there's a really good program that's linked to this subtext, I feel, which is called Visualizing and Verbalizing. And so one of the behavioral optometrists that I work with recommends this approach in kind of teaching someone to be able to visualize things in order to go back, in a sense, to go back to that visualization, to be able to go it's so hard to explain, to go back to that information in order to get the facts and to be able to work out the inference, etc. So I hope that was a really straightforward. I know I got a little bit muddled at the end, but I only record these on one take. I don't want it to be perfect. They need to be approachable. So I hope that was a helpful explanation of understanding spoken paragraphs. And if you've got any questions, as per usual, just find me on social media. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. I even had a TikTok account, which was highly embarrassing, which I dropped. Didn't do any dancing, but still, I've stopped using TikTok. So any questions whatsoever, just find me and ask away. Okay, feel free to share. Thank you. Bye.